So the
Oh,
Asia Cup is starting this weekend on Saturday. I believe Sri Lanka and Afghanistan are going to open proceedings, followed by the big game on Sunday. So we're just going to systematically go squad by squad, and talk about how we think each team is going to match up. So starting with Group A, the first squad is the Indian team, captained by Rohit Sharma. The team consists of KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Dipak Huda, Dinesh Karthik, Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Ravichandran Ashwin, Yuzvendra Chahal, Ravi Bishnoi, Kanishwar Kumar, Harshdeep Singh, and Adesh Khan. And the three standby players are Shreyas Iyer, Akshar Patel, and Deepak Chahar. LBK, this is your national team. How do you think this squad looks on paper? Obviously, they have the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, so how much do you think that'll affect their chances?
uh, uh, first of all, I think as far as Jasprit Bumrah's absence goes, I think obviously his presence is a big factor in this team. As we have seen in the England series, where he played the second game, you could see there was a huge difference that he made, uh, obviously with his bowling. And even though, yes, he is not in the team and he's probably out for a while due to the injury, I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Ashdeep Singh will probably do well on their own. Obviously, there's Avesh Khan as well, but I doubt if there's any mishap in case Bhuvneshwar or Ashdeep gets injured. I am assuming someone from the standby comes in, and I do not see Avesh Khan getting a chance. And as far as batting goes, I think it will be that old choice squad that played in the previous World Cup will go in. The old, good old Rahul and Rohit as openers, Virat at three, Surya Kumar Yadav at four, maybe twisted. Maybe Surya Kumar Yadav comes at three in case there's an early breakthrough or something. And then Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya, and Ravin Jadeja as usual. Probably there's a chance that Ashwin comes in, but I do not see him coming in immediately, especially not probably not in the game against Pakistan because there's everyone else who are who have been playing consistently while Ashwin has not, especially in the white ball. So I think they'll probably go with the tried and tested team. How about you, Stuff?
Yeah, the team looks about as expected. Bumrah's obviously a big loss, and I think that will really affect their chances. But because I don't think Bumrah's replacements are anywhere near as good as he is. But as we'll get to later, some of the other teams are also missing some key players. So yeah, you never know. I think India are probably batting wise most suited for these types of pitches than any other team in the competition. But yeah, again, their bowling. The bowling has definitely lost a lot of spark without Bumrah in it.
All right, so I'd like to ask both of you on a grade list from A plus to F. How would you rate the squad as compared to what your expectations are? Stuff, we could start with you.
I'd give it a solid B.
From me, yeah, I think B pretty much sums it up because there's obviously some good stuff going around here, but they're also missing things here and there. Maybe one more pacer, maybe. I mean, yes, the induction of Avesh Khan is a little bit questionable. Obviously, there's still doubts or maybe questions around why Ashwin is back, even though yes, he did play in the West Indies series, but there's still things to be figured out in that zone. But outside of that, it looks like a solid squad. So I think it is the B from my side as well.
All right, yeah, I also would agree with you. This is a B or B plus team for the reasons mentioned. All right, moving on in Group A is the rival of the former Pakistan, captained by Babar Azam, vice captained by Shadab Khan. The squad consists of Asif Ali, Fakhr Zaman, Haider Ali, Haris Rauf, Iftikhar Ahmed, Khushdil Shah, Muhammad Nawaz, Muhammad Rizwan, Muhammad Wasim Jr., Naseem Shah, Shahnawaz Dahani, Usman Qadir, and Muhammad Hasnain. So obviously Pakistan lost out on Shaheen after he got injured diving in Sri Lanka. And we saw what Shaheen did last year against India, that famous opening spell. So I feel that of all the teams which lost fast bowlers, I believe that's four: India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh all lost a pacer coming into the tournament. I think Shaheen's absence affects his team the most because with the new ball, honestly, I'm not sure who's going to take it. It's going to be Haris Rauf on one end, and then the other options are like Naseem Shah, Muhammad Hasnain is in there. So that opens up questions on that end. I don't think I've ever seen Muhammad Wasim Jr. take the new ball, but that's an option as well. And then I believe that the top three is a lock. It's going to be Babar Azam and Rizwan opening, followed by Fakhar Usman, and then everything after that is just a question mark. I believe because that the biggest issue with Pakistan coming into the tournament is that their middle order is rather questionable. Because after Fakhar Haman, it immediately drops off into more of the power hitter type of players. There's Iftikhar Ahmed, Khushdil Shah, Haider Ali, and Asif Ali. And then you have Shadab Khan too, who I think is a genuine batsman. He could flow anywhere between 7 and 4. Personally, I'd like to see him bat at 4 if Haider Ali doesn't get in. But I think our probable 11 against India and our opener would be Babar Azam, Muhammad Rizwan, and Fakhar on top. I would like Shadab Khan at 4, followed by Iftihar and Asif, or Ushdil, he could be put in there somewhere as well. Then Muhammad Nawaz, he bats and he bowls some quality spin too. And then the three pacers are probably going to be Haris Rauf, Muhammad Wasim, and then one of Naseem Shah, Shahnawaz Dahani, or Muhammad Hasnain. I would prefer to see Naseem Shah just off of form. He had a really good outing against Holland. And yeah, that's how I think this team stacks up. Stuff. Do you have any comments on this Pakistan side?
Like it's not that different from the team that played the World Cup last year. The two big differences are obviously no Shaheen and also no Hassan Ali. And I know like most people say it's a good thing there's no Hassan Ali, but he was in some solid form for a while leading into the World Cup and at the start of the World Cup. He's fallen off, quite drastically since that semifinal. But yeah, I do like the squad. I do think obviously no Shaheen's going to be a massive loss, but there's some decent strength in the bowling and the backups, and this is their big break to really prove themselves. So hopefully it goes well for them. You were saying you think Muhammad Wasim can take the new ball. I don't think he can because I don't see why you'd give a slow ball bowler the new ball. But yeah, like it'll probably just be between Naseem, Shahnawaz, Dahani, and they replaced him with Hasnain, didn't they?
Yep.
So it'll be between those three for the new ball, and then Wasim will bowl middle overs, death overs. Yeah, again, the main problem with the team is still the middle order because it's just you don't get much time to practice with the middle order in T20s. So the same issues the team has had since forever, how long, are still there. So all we can really hope for is that they turn up like they did in the World Cup. Yeah, it's a solid squad, and I wouldn't call them outright favorites, but I do think they are the team with the best chance of winning.
LBK, how about you?
As far as squad goes, I think one thing we all know is that almost everyone from the squad has a lot of experience playing in the UAE thanks to the PSL. But from my end, for what I think, if let's assume Pakistan wins their game against India, I think it will actually be good for them from a different point of view that maybe whoever qualifies whoever qualifies from that group, I mean, from the qualifiers. Against them, Pakistan can maybe try out different combinations in the middle order and maybe then go and figure out who their middle order is going to be. Because obviously, if Pakistan has to beat India, there's a good chance that the contributions from the bat would probably come from Babar Azam, Rizwan, and Fakhr Zaman. So obviously, there's a chance that their middle order might stay untested in that first game if that happens. So I'll probably like them to check out whoever is there. There's Haider Ali, there's Khurshid Shah, there's obviously Asif Ali who'll probably play the game against India itself. There's also Iftikhar and Shadab. So maybe they should be trying this stuff out and figuring it out. Maybe it is a bit on the job,
Yeah.
but maybe that is the way. Obviously, since Pakistan has not played enough T20Is recently to figure out who they want to play in
Mhm.
the middle order, so maybe that is the approach they can take, and maybe that is the way they'll find out who is going to be their three or four middle order bats.
And how would you grade the team?
Actually, uh, s- uh, I'd like to grade them in two different ways. One is simply the team skill, or the general team rating, which would probably be the same as India, probably an
Yeah.
A minus or maybe B. But based on the fact that they do not have a lot of practice coming in, probably based on that, I'll give them a B minus.
Okay. And Stuff, how about you?
Yeah, so I said I think they're the best team in the tournament, but I don't think they're significantly better than anyone else. So I'm going to give them a B plus.
All right. I'll give them a B plus as well. Moving on to Group B, we'll start with in alphabetical order with Afghanistan. They're captained by Muhammad Nabi and vice captained by Najibullah Sadran. Team consists of Afsar Hazai, Azmatullah Omarzai, Farid Ahmed Malik, Fazil Haq Faruqi, Hashmatullah Shahidi, Hazratullah Zazai, Ibrahim Sadran, كريم جنت مجيب الرحمن نجيب الله صدران نبين الحق نور أحمد رحمن الله Gurbaz, Rashid Khan, Samuel Shinwari, and their three standbys are Ijat Masood, Qais Ahmed, and Sharafuddin Ashraf. So on paper, this is the typical Afghan style team we've been seeing for quite a bit now. They have they have high quality spin pulling. They have good power hitting, but the fast bowling and that anchor type player just isn't really there. Are there any surprises in this Afghanistan team for you guys, or is it just more of the same that we see from them?
I didn't realize how bad the team would be for your stutter. Yeah, like there isn't that much different from them compared with the last few times we've seen them. They're still lacking a proper fast bowler. They have some better options than they've had in times past, but have like they still don't have one that you would build your team around. They're still very much built around their spin attack, which is probably the best in the competition. And
And LDK, how about you?
From what I see, I think we have seen Afghanistan for what now, 7 years, and one thing that has been kind of a constant with them, obviously they have got their spinners who have been their biggest strength all this while. But what I have noticed with Afghanistan is their bowling is best for middle order, middle overs. I beg your pardon, but the batting is basically the best for maybe the death overs or the power play. So
Yeah.
it is kind of a situation where both things are lacking, in one spot or the other, and seems like they are still trying to fill it up, and it has not been filled up as of now. There are times when someone like Nabi or Zadran gets them runs in the middle order, but it is mostly you know once in a while or in patches. So I think if they can cover that up, and obviously I think UAE is that one place where they can fling up a lot of surprises.
Hmm.
So if there's a place where Afghanistan could turn up really well, then it is this tournament and it is this format.
So on paper, I would grade them a C. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'd go with the C as well. They're lacking in two main areas, which is having the fast bowlers and
Yeah.
having
LBK. How about you?
batters, but their spinners are the best in the competition. So yeah, C sounds about right.
Yeah, more or less C is the best choice here because, as Stuff said, their team is pretty much easily describable, and it is it is pretty much that. So I guess C is fine.
All right, the next team is Shakib Al Hassan's Bangladesh, vice captained by Inam Ul Haq. Team consists of Mushfiqur Rahim, Afif Hussain, Wasadek Hussain, Mahmudullah, Mehdi Hassan, Muhammad Saifuddin, Mustafizur Rahman, Nasum Ahmed, Sabir Rahman, Mehdi Hassan, Taskin Ahmed, Ibadat Hussain, Parvez Hussain Aman, and Muhammad Naim. Stuff, do you think that this Bangladesh team has a chance to surprise some people?
I don't.
Understandable.
Then they just sacked Russell Domingo, didn't they? This morning, their coach. They sacked him
I
this
believe so,
morning
yeah.
instead of after losing to Zimbabwe like 2 weeks ago. They sacked him now, so they have no idea what they're doing. They did just lose to Zimbabwe, and full respect to Zimbabwe, but Zimbabwe would finish bottom of this group, and Bangladesh lost to them 2-1 in
Yeah,
both T20s and ODIs.
That's some typical Bangladesh cricket board stuff right there. A lot of lack of organization there.
So like on paper, I don't think this is that bad of a team, but they're just not very good performance-wise. So
Yeah.
I don't see them. I would honestly be a little surprised if they make it out of the first round.
LBK, how about you?
I think, as we saw in the Zimbabwe series, where a lot of things did go wrong, and seems like that is the way to go for them this time as well. I mean, obviously they are low on morale, but when you see the squad, you see there's a lot of talent available, and if maybe they can work together, who knows? Maybe they can fling up another surprise like they have in past few Asia Cups.
So I would honestly, I'd also rate this team a C alongside Afghanistan, maybe a C plus. It just doesn't look as good as some of the Bangladesh teams we've seen in the past. How about you, LBK?
Yeah, I think you're right because one thing being said here, obviously Bangladesh might not have a great spin unit as Afghanistan do, but on the other side they do have decent batting and good pacers available. So I think that is pretty much the same as Afghanistan. That is a C from me too.
Stuff.
So I think like on the balance of their squad is better than Afghanistan's, but they don't have as high highs, but their lows are better. Like they have better batters than Afghanistan. They have better fast bowlers as bad as Afghanistan's fast bowlers are. So on the balance, I'd probably give them a C plus. But again, I don't think they're getting out of the group stage.
All right. And moving on to the final confirmed team, Sri Lanka, captained by Dasun Shanaka. Oh boy. All right. The squad consists of Danushka Gunathilaka, Patum Nisanka, Kusal Mendes, Charitas Salanka, Bhanukar Rajapaksa, Ashin Bandara, Dhananjaya De Silva, Wanindu Hasaranga, Mahesh Dikshana, Jeffrey Vandersay, Praveen Jayavikrama, Chamika Karunaratne, Dilshan Madhushanka, Matisa Paterana, Nuanidu Fernando, Nuwan Tutusara, and Dinesh Chandamal. I believe this is the best team in this group by a sizable margin. Like, this isn't a bad team, in my opinion. How about you, Stuff? What do you think about Sri Lanka?
Yeah, it's the best team in this group, regardless of what pessimistic Sri Lankan fans will tell you. This is a lot better than Bangladesh or Afghanistan. Because that's just what Sri Lanka is, right? They're a more established cricketing nation than both, even though they were in a really bad place last time the Asia Cup came around. they were always going to get out of that, and they have a decently talented side here. Some weird decisions, like I'm not sure how much of a T20 player Dinesh Chandimal is, and I don't know why they want to keep trying it. And they're probably a little weak on leg spin, because I don't know how. I wouldn't really call Jeffrey Vandersay that good, but Hasaranga is
Saranga also goes with X, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Hasaranga is great, but if he's had some injury trouble lately, like, he should be fine by himself. But the backup being Vandersay, I wouldn't rate too highly. But yeah, like on the balance of things, they have decent strengths all over, and they're the best team in this group. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if they go on to make the final. I don't think they will, but it wouldn't be the biggest surprise. Like, I wouldn't be as surprised as I was when Bangladesh made the final last time.
I mean, it's gonna go to a group of 4, and the Pakistani choke job is always inevitable.
I mean, that's what happened in 2018.
You never know. So. Yeah. LVK, how about you?
They have played some good cricket in recent times, and I think if they can bring that game here, then I'm guessing this team can make it to the finals. I mean, obviously there's a lot there's a lot going on with the team. There's someone like Vanindu Hasaranga who can impact the game in multiple ways, but there's also things that are lacking here and there. Obviously, as stuff said, Chandimal's induction into the team is kind of dubious. I don't know his strike rate or even his recent performances call for his selection. But even outside of that, when you see the options that they have available, I feel like if their bowling can complement the batting talent that they have, then probably this is one of the teams that you could see in the finals. I think it is a good one.
So I would grade this Sri Lanka team B-. I don't think they're on the same level as India and Pakistan, but they definitely have the potential to be. How about LBK? How do you grade this team?
I'd say it is a B-. I mean, as I said, there's a lot of batting talent available. There's some good bowlers here and there, but ultimately it will come down to how they actually perform on the ground. So I guess a B is pretty fine for being speculative. How about you, Steph?
If Shamira didn't get injured, I would have said a B, but because he's missing, and it's going to be a bit of a loss for them, because he was their best fast bowler, I'll say B-.
Do you think that the loss of Shamira to Sri Lanka is more of a loss for them than Shaheen is to Pakistan?
Yeah, because their next best fast bowler isn't as close to Shamira as Pakistan's next best fast bowler is to Shaheen.
So lastly, just final predictions. Who would you think is going to win the tournament? We'll start with LPK.
I'll go with the dark horse and say Sri Lanka.
Spicy.
All right, and stuff.
Well, obviously it's going to be the UAE after they overcome the loss to Kuwait and go on a massive go on a massive run to the title, because Kuwait is currently 57 for 6 against Hong Kong, the qualifiers I'm looking, so it's a pretty decent chance that UAE still managed to make the main round. But I will say Pakistan. I think Pakistan has the strongest squad, and
I'd like to see the meltdown after UAE wins the title.
I mean, I'm a Pakistan fan, so obviously I'll say Pakistan. But if I had to pick somebody else, obviously the Indian team is India. It's never going to be a pushover. I still think they're probably the strongest team in the tournament. They'll always have the majority of fan support in the ground.
India sleptwalked to the last 2 Asia Cup titles. Put it entirely past them.
Yeah, so it's not a unpopular thing at all to pick India. They have a big chance. But just for the sake of being an associate merchant as well, I'll pick Hong Kong, because they're going to get out of the qualifiers.
They're going to have a tough game against the UAE tomorrow.
Bro, the UAE isn't even that good. Hong Kong. Wait, is Babar Hayat still playing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. How old is he?
And I think one thing that I can say about this Asia Cup is that if there's any format or any place in Asia where the tournament could be competitive, then it is T20 and it is the UAE. So I think I am expecting maybe some surprise eliminations early on. Maybe even it could be Pakistan or Sri Lanka or maybe even India. Who knows?
Yeah,
Well, no
Babar
matter what
Hayat's only
happens,
30, by
it's
the way.
gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good tournament. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of fun, especially with those two Pakistan versus India games ahead of the World Cup in October. So it was great talking to you guys. It was great hearing your thoughts on how you think it's gonna play out.